This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Welcome to Race in Action Today. Today's show will be dedicated to the Berlin Agricultural Lions Museum, the Tractor Museum as we call it. And believe me, there's going to be some interesting things will be covered today, and that Ferndale truck is just one of them. Yes, we have Dave Alkus with us, and we're at another fair here, Dave, with your Tractor Museum, and I can't get over every time I come in here, there's something different. I mean, what's the secret here?
Well, we try to keep everybody a little confused on what we put in here, and each year we mix things up. We have a lot of people that step up to the plate that want to bring their vehicles, trucks, tractors, some very nice farm memorabilia into the museum each year. So we kind of mix-match things up each year, keep people confused, keep them interested in it, and give them a little bit of history of Berlin in here. And we certainly have a lot of history of Berlin in this museum this year.
Well, I'll tell you, I walked up to one track there myself and saw Harry Edelson's picture. And to me, that was a special kind of a moment. I mean, Harry was such a character, and I think he lived to be 98 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, Larry. He did... He lived quite a fairly ripe old age and was very liked about the whole town of Berlin. He was involved with a bowling alley over there, the Berlin Bowling Alley, for many, many years. And the Edelson family's carried on a tradition in Berlin for a long time. The grandson decided to bring his tractor over, called me up, and kind of begged me to bring it in, and I didn't have to beg me too much because we try and keep all our town participants involved in everything that we do here, along with the truck that we got from the Hall family. And Harry, we have several new ones. We've got a nice Minneapolis Moline, which you'll see later on down the filming here. Down in the back corner, we've got several other new tractors there, a couple of them more that I've purchased. They came from Massachusetts, and big tractors and totally restored tractors, very nice ones.
Well, it's good to see that the town people have stepped up to, to show their heritage here, because, the farming is kind of going away, and it's really a treat to come in to see all these wonderful exhibits.
Well, that's what it's all about, Larry. We turn around in here, and each year, my wife and I and a lot of the townspeople, they step up to the plate helping out and doing several different things to keep the agricultural aspect of Berlin going. And this is what it's all about. I keep saying that. I hope we can get some other fellows to keep going. I'm getting up a little bit in age, not that old, but still. I'd like to get some of the younger people involved in it, which we do, and they help out a lot. And like I say, it's all given back to the town. It's here for the town and for the town to enjoy, and we have a lot of excellent comments from everybody. Each year we put on a different display, like this Ferndale truck right here.
Now, this was a dairy farm, and they had an ice cream parlor at one time. I mean, they were huge in town.
Yeah, this was kind of on Chamberlain Highway. They had a big dairy bar over there. They had a farm up in back, which probably back in the early 50s had caught on fire and burned down. But they had a big agricultural farm there, dairy farm. They produced their own milk. They delivered the milk, and this was one of the service trucks that they had, and one of the grandsons took and restored, Jeremy Hall. And his friend spent 2 years on this thing, building this thing up, and it's the original truck that's been reproduced. He's still in the process of restoring it, and a lot of the trinkets on here he's still hunting down and finding. But basically, this truck is all original, right down to a hood ornament that shouldn't be on there, but that's what they put on when they built it.
Well, it's like going back in time, that's for sure.
That's right. There's pictures over here of when this thing was sitting in the bushes over there on Robbins Road, where Terry Hall carries on a little critter farm over there. He's got some sheep and some goats and little animals over there, Shetland ponies and stuff. And he's well known in town. Terry's runs that big farm over there. Well, it's not real big, but a little critter farm there that we all pitch in and help him out.
Well, it was good to see the sign, Ferndale Dairy.
Yeah, that goes back quite a ways. They approached me, and they didn't have to talk to me too long to want to be accepted in here in the museum itself, and it's been quite a hit. A lot of people have commented and brought back big memories for all of them, everyone that's come through here.
Well, we certainly always look forward to see what else is going to pop up in here. It's always a treat.
Well, we've even the stuff that we have in the back here. We've got a cow up in the back here that was donated by Henry Ritchie right here from Skinner Road over there, and he's donated also several items up there, including a lot of those little riding tractors up on the building over here that we use, brand new ones that he had picked up, and they're worth a lot of money. And they were brand new right out of the box. And a lot of this stuff, rather than sell it or anything, he wanted to donate it strictly to this museum and wanted to be part of it. So I kind of just mentioned his name.
All right, well, we're going to take a look now at a different area of the tractor museum here and carry on. Yes, Dave, it's kind of strange to see you standing next to a tractor that ain't green, but I see we have a new addition in here.
Yeah, Larry, this year... Well, one of the ladies that is going out with a fella to restore this tractor turned around and called me up there 3 or 4 days ago and wanted to bring down a Minneapolis Moline, which we don't have too many of them. We have one other on the other side, which is a smaller version of it. And Minneapolis Molines weren't that frequent around here in Berlin, and I kind of stepped up to the plate and said, well, geez, it would be. I said, but is it restored and all? And it was restored a lot finer than I actually thought. I didn't realize the quality of workmanship on this Z model Minneapolis Moline that came out of Bristol. Heather had called me up and said my boyfriend would like to show it over here to the fair. And I said, well, certainly, as long as it's in good shape. And much behold my eyes, I mean, you can see the quality of the workmanship in this beautiful Minneapolis Moline.
Yeah, I see. It's a 1953.
Right, 1953 Z model. There really wasn't a lot of them built, but a lot of these tractors originated right out of Berlin. Believe it or not, the old Deep House distribution center down where Stop and Shop is right now used to be the main sales room and the service area for Minneapolis Moline. Jimmy.
So it's got a Berlin heritage too.
Oh yes, I think it's back home right now for a little while, and there is another smaller one that the Shear family has on the other side, which is has a totally original, and. We're not prejudiced against any of these tractors. We'll take anything in here that's nicely restored, and he's done a beautiful job on this.
Well, I have to say, I mean, you see Case, you see International Harvester. I mean, there's certainly a collection here for everybody.
Well, that's it. You know, a lot of the old timers don't realize the history that I have stored in my mind, that I've talked to a lot of the old gentlemen that have given me a lot of this history. I've got an encyclopedia in my brain over here on some of the stuff. And one of these days I got to sit down and jot it down so if something happened to me, it doesn't fall by the wayside. We've got, like I've talked to before, we've had Alice Charmer dealers right here in Berlin, Wallach's Garage on Chamberlain Highway, which a lot of people didn't realize it in the early 50s. That was a distribution depot and a service area for Alice Charmers. We did have John Deere dealerships in Middletown, which was Greer Smith a long time ago, which now is Midstate Tractor. A lot of the areas around here, Jimmy Deephouse actually was a salesperson for Minneapolis Moline, which was basically, they used a lot of the Minneapolis. It wasn't for farming. They used them for industrial. They had backhoes and a lot of implement-type sidewalk cleaning devices and all that they used to use, a lot of Minneapolis molding equipment. So there's still a lot floating around.
Yeah, Berlin seemed to be very heavily involved in farming, as I remember coming here as a child, and it was so much of a change from coming from a city, you know.
Well, I think a lot of it spun off from some of your businesses that a lot of the fellows originated right out of New Britain. When you had your Landers Ferry and Clark, you had New Britain Machine. So a lot of the stuff was pretty tangible. We had Corbin, you had Landers, you had a lot of areas, New Departure, and it just spun off, and Berlin being a closer area, and a lot of them had the industrial end of everything. And that's why you see a lot of people, they really stepped up to the plate and opened businesses up in Berlin, and we handled a lot of them.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, when I come in here and you see tractors lined up everywhere you could imagine, I'm getting the feeling, Dave, that, you know what, maybe we need to expand this thing.
Well, Larry, you just about hit it on the head. I mean, I've got to go back to the Lions Club this year. And as you see in the backyard here, I think I can go another probably 50 feet safely without getting into the parking lot and adding on to this building, because I like to have the room spacious here and more comfortable so that people can walk around. We've had to turn away a couple of tractors that are duplicates to what we have because of that reason. We don't have the extra room. We can vouch that this is the biggest actually tractor museum in the state of Connecticut. It all houses underneath here. This year we're housing over 42 tractors alone now just for show in this museum. And we call it a tractor museum. It isn't an implement museum or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, you have tools on the walls. I mean, you know, of different, you have all types of farm equipment here. But yeah, it is a tractor museum. And I'll have to tell you, the new project I saw the Lions do here with this pavilion came out absolutely gorgeous. I know you had a good, you had a good hand in what went on there, and I have to commend you.
Well, Larry, I thank you for that. We stepped up to the plate. We put a pavilion up that is 50 feet wide and 80 feet long. It keeps a lot of our patrons nice and dry where it used to be a wet area. We elevated it about 18 inches above flood level around here, or should I say mud level. But we did a beautiful, phenomenal job of that. Gary Benkowski, myself, and Tommy Tredilla, he helped build the building and design it. We've had it professionally designed, and it's worked out excellent this year, especially with the weather that we have in Berlin.
Yeah, I'll have to say, I walked by it last night, and that place looked like the busiest spot in the whole fair.
Yeah, it was booming, and when you get a little rain or anything, it's nice to have a big building like that where you're undercover and comfortable, and it makes a big difference in your crowds and in bringing people in, even under bad weather. And we seem to be prone to that all the time. Every time we have a fair here, one of the 3 days, we kind of get rained out, if not a couple of cloudy days.
Yeah, I know. It's just part of coming to the fair, I guess. But I want to also, Dave, I want you to remind the people about how they could have events here in this building and really get the word out and maybe reach out to kids, too, to come down to have a little class in here. Because believe me, this building is an educational spot that a lot of people need to come to.
Well, you're right, Larry. I keep boasting to people, if they ever want to come down here, give me a call. I'm right here in Berlin. I'm listed in the phone book. And anytime they get a group of half a dozen people together, or even a couple that want to go ahead and tour it, they've got a family that come up from out of state, and they want to enjoy this area, or some of them that are coming in that have never been back to the fair here in probably 35 or 40 years, and see what remarkable accomplishments that we have done in this fairgrounds. We put together a lot of stuff. There's a lot of good stuff for field trips. We do have a handicapped accessible building here, so if the weather is inclement, we can drive right in with a handicap bus or so. We've got a handicapped bathroom and restrooms here.
Age is no limit.
Yeah, we can put on anyone here that's even handicapped or all. And this is the way we designed it so that we can give back to the community.
Absolutely. Well, we certainly got to commend you. It's really a treat to see everything that's being done here, and I know in the future, I got a feeling this is going to be expanded.
Yeah, I think you're right, Larry. We're getting, we don't stop that. As long as we're able to keep moving, we keep building, you know. We keep adding on and making the fair a lot larger and a lot nicer. And we get it so that everything works a lot easier and safer. That's our goal, you know.
Yeah, we want to remind everybody, too, the first weekend in October is the magic day for this fair, and then we got the Plainville Stadium reunion always a week after. Am I thinking right?
Yeah, Larry, that Plainville Stadium reunion has gone. We've already had two Plainville Stadium reunions here. Don Moon over in Plainville and Gary Benkowski and the Nutmeg Club here, the Go-Karters, the Nutmeg Go-Kart Club, put on a tremendous show over here, and we have a memorabilia. Right now I talked to Don Moon last night, and we have over 35 cars, replica cars coming to this show, which is always the following week after, the Saturday after the fair. It's just a couple bucks to come in here, $4 or $5, I think, to come in. And the history that you get, people bring their pictures in here. Everybody has a memorabilia here. We've got a Hall of Fame with a lot of the deceased members and pictures. People wouldn't believe the stuff that's gone into this museum. And each year we change it around. We've got the novice coming in this year. We had the modifieds last year, strictly modifieds, which I shoed the modified 54 for quite a few years there. We had some championships and all, and have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Actually, so far, the only person that's been inducted in Plainville, which was
Hey, Dave, I got to remind you, you were a 5-time champion, buddy.
Right, that's right. In the 70s, we took the championship up there. We had a lot of competition that came down from Riverside Park with big powered engines and all, and we used to give them a whipping. And we had a lot of good times, turned some hot laps out there.
I know. I'll tell you, the memories are still in my mind.
Yeah, we had. I drove the Roland Sear prepared car. It was number 54. It's a blue car, and I still to this day run into people all the time that commend me and remember, and I still joke around and laugh at a lot of the people that have stepped up to the plate and have backed me throughout the years in helping out. Absolutely.
Well, we're going to move over to another part of the museum here and continue. Well, we moved over to some very friendly green tractors that I know have been part of your life for a long time. And this tractor here, Big John, I think has got something special about it.
Yeah, Larry, I'm back home here when it comes to green. When I was a kid, I started out with John Deere tractors on the farm, the old Munson farm. The Munson brothers there that I started working for as a kid. I was only 11 years old working there, and it taught me the old farming aspect and to learn and respect vehicles and tractors that work for you. And this particular tractor here isn't one that was from around here. I happened to pick this up over in Sharon Springs, New York. My wife and I were, right after the fair about 5 years ago, we were going for a ride and getting up into Niagara Falls. So we were heading out west on Route 20, and she happened to spot this tractor over there, and I always I had a passion for a 720 John Deere, which isn't the biggest, but I do have one that's the biggest. This tractor here was up at McFadden's Farm Machinery area up in Sharon Springs, New York. We spotted it, we turned around, and we looked it over and everything, and I kind of fell in love with it because it's kind of a very unique tractor. There's only about 350 of these that were made. This particular tractor, came out of Wisconsin and was used out in the wheat fields of Wisconsin. They use this tractor because it's got a unique front end in it. It's a diesel tractor. It's also a direct electric starting tractor. A lot of these tractors that have bigger engines in them used to use a pony engine or a starting engine to get them cranked over, and then you fire them off. But it's kind of unique to find a combination with direct electric start, 24 volt, and this is one of my pet tractors. It's a big one, and we have a lot of fun with it. We use it in the parades each year, towing one of the people movers for the Memorial Day parade for the Lions Club. It's a big hit. We put it in different shows in there. And believe it or not, we even had Don Moon's son there pull it last year, and he made out very well just in the stock class with it because it's got lower gears in it, being out in the wheat fields of Wisconsin.
Now, were they the only tractor that were two-cylinder?
Basically, yes. John Deere was the only two. They started way back in 1924, 1920s. They were hitting with the Waterloo Boys, which are very popular tractor. They're kind of a tender tractor because you don't see too many of them moving around. They kind of put them in one place and stay there because the parts are very, very hard to come by. We wound up, after falling in love with this tractor, I wanted the biggest one that they made, which is an 820, which I did buy. When my wife and I, 2 years ago, went down to Yuma, Arizona, to a big auction, a Larry Weber auction, and we purchased an 820 out there. And we had it delivered back out here by Keene Transport. We paid a little bit, almost as much to truck it back as we paid for the tractor.
Right.
But it's the biggest tractor. It's a 1958, and that one's an 820, and right now it's under restoration. I had it here last year, but we're in the process of restoring it just like this one.
Well, I'll tell you, Dave, I have to commend you. I mean, keeping these tractors like you do and bringing back how they looked at when they were new is really something special. And the people really need to come and see what goes on here.
Well, that's true, Larry. We turn around, and when we restore these tractors, I try to bring them back to even tire sizes and the type of tire. Firestone tires were very popular. They were an original tire. The nuts and bolts that we use on these are all clutch bolts with original, and we've had to hunt around to different junkyards, or tractor museums, or not museums, but boneyards where you can actually find them, sandblast them, and bring them back to putting every nut and bolt original right down to a T, including hose clamps, the decals. We go special. There's a green magazine that I am a subscriber to, which Jordy is the one that supplies decals, and the guy is very fussy. Travis needs every particular model, and the decals that we use on them are all original. They're right to a T. I mean, they're not something that's a reproduction that's real bad. So we do a lot of hunting around and investigating to find the right parts for their tractor.
Yeah, I have to say that when you come into this museum, there's something for everybody, whether you're young, old, child. It's fantastic, Dave.
Yeah, you're right, Larry. We do. We try to put everything together. A lot of these tractors that we have here, we've turned around and we actually use. We've been plowing fields with them for Terry Hall. That Ellis Charmer's right over there. I picked up, and I kind of fall in love with some of them. I buy them to use, and then after you use them, they're just like a pet. You don't want to get rid of it, you know. A little dog or cat you got, you just say, well, a little scrawny thing, you know. But even a tractor, they give you, you fix them up right and you get them so they're running right, they'll give you the service that you give them.
Absolutely.
That's one of the biggest things.
You know, maintenance and everything. And I know myself, my personal experience with you, helping me on some problems that popped up. Boy, I'll tell you, you're like a walking dictionary.
Well, you know, it takes time. I mean, even you're always, no matter how old you are, you still keep learning. You'll pick up a lot of tips from some of the old timers that you realize some simple little thing you just didn't realize would be that simple to correct a problem that was so major.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do that all the time, and I'm always open for knowledge for an old timer, 90 or so years old. and you could sit down with them and just sit there for an hour and just pick up, increase your dictionary.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you for all the knowledge and things you do. I know you give yourself up to the Lions Club and a lot of different organizations, and we're surely glad you do what you do.
Thank you, Larry, and I'd like to thank you guys for, again, Race in Action Today and the Nutmeg Channel for airing this stuff and getting it out to the public and let them see it and enjoy it. I have as much fun narrating all this stuff and giving back to the community, and we only touched on a little bit of it. And
we need to have the people come and see us here.
well, you're more than welcome anytime they want. You know, we're not bashful here. We'll help anybody out at any time.
Thanks a lot, Dave. You were excellent.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
Beautiful job.
Yeah, it looks good.
We come to the conclusion of our show, and I hope everybody has enjoyed it as much as we have producing it. And yeah, that corn bin is just something special here in the museum, and I really have to hand it to Dave Alkus for all the wonderful things he does in this museum and the entire fair. Just outstanding. I mean, he just keeps this place looking immaculate, and it's just a joy to come to every time we come here. And also, you know, I'd like to mention that it was sure a wonderful sight to see that this cow and that Ferndale truck, as I used to go to that ice cream parlor all the time, and just brought back a lot of memories for me. This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Thanks to the Race in Action Today crew, Dwayne Cody, Bill Majak, David Seidlinger, and Lisa Backus. And also we want to thank our home station, Nutmeg TV, for all their support and all the great things they do. We want to thank R&M Recycling in New Britain, Connecticut for all their support and all the great things they do back at their yard. And also we want to thank PBF, Pryor Brothers Fabricating in Berlin, Connecticut for all the wonderful things they do for us and all that great work they do back at their shop. And last of all, we want to thank Just Results Weight Loss Center at their brand new facility in Plainville, Connecticut for all the great things they do.